The story of a chained lady grabbed the heart of the entire China.
National Republican Congressional Committee released a poll showing Hispanic voters in 47 battleground districts are leaving Democratic Party.
Canadian police arrested the Freedom Convoy, the truck drivers in Ottawa after 3 weeks protest.
Meanwhile, Americans' People's Convoy to start on February 2nd in California.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Wei and Kathy Show. I'm your host, Wei Fang.
I'm Kathy Zhang.
Yeah. Okay. Just so you know that we'll be going to CPAC next week, and some of you already contact us about who we can meet over there.
Right.
And for those of you who will be going to CPAC, write us a message. Maybe we can go there. We can meet. We can interview you and make you part of the program too. How about that? Mm-hmm. And if you think you can introduce us to any of other, podcast or program, please also give us your recommendation, and so that we can get more connected. Yeah, eventually, I think that this show needs to reach more Americans, and we need your help. Yeah. Okay, so we'll be moving into today's topic. The first one actually is, I call it a story of a chained lady grabbed the heart of the entire China. Okay, it's a very difficult piece of news. I don't know, with like a 5 minutes time, whether I'm able to explain that clearly. Okay, as you know, Winter Olympics is in Beijing. Winter Olympics in Beijing. However, the Beijing Olympics has been largely shadowed by the story of a chained lady. In the eastern China, a place called Jiangsu province. The story started like this. Okay, there's an old man. In his 50s. Okay, this old man, his family, he has 8 kids. Basically, it's a poor family. So the YouTubers like to go to his home and deliver some food, deliver some candy, show their compassionate heart, and then do a little video and then publish on the internet, on the YouTube, and so that not the YouTube. Okay, YouTube is banned in China. Some on the YouTube, mostly on China's YouTube. Okay, so show their compassion. Okay, that sounds very innocuous. All right. However, something very, very strange that happened. First, you think, for the YouTubers to pay a visit to a poor big family, and give them some gift and make a video out of it. What's the big deal about that? But in China, remember, this family have 8 kids, 8 children. China has this the birth policy, one-child birth policy since 1980. It is very, very rare for you to run into a Chinese family that has 2 kids or more. Okay, that's basically in China because of that 4 decades of one-child policy. China pretty much, CCP eliminated the concept of a sister or brother and things like that. So for a family to have 8 kids without any problem, that's really, really, out of what?
Yeah,
out
it's
of whack.
just impossible.
Yeah,
right?
How can that be possible? And but people don't seem to mind that. Okay, somehow they just have 8 kids. Nobody think about what's behind it. Anyway, then one day, one YouTuber noticed that a old lady was just making some noise. So he just went into that room, and he found a lady looks in his 50s. Okay, looks rather old, and this lady, around her neck have a chain up her neck with a lock here. Okay, she's been just staying there by herself with one empty table, and in that cold room, and she wear very thin clothes. Okay, and then couldn't speak. She can only mumble, couldn't quite speak. So that YouTuber just tried to add some more clothes to him, and then he shoot a video of this lady. Then he published on the internet. After a short while, people start to notice, because for a lady having a chain around her neck, just like a dog, right? That's very, very rare in China. So people on the internet start, on the left person is this his husband, okay? And this guy is just inviting YouTubers and to his home, and he got some web traffic, got some advertisement income, and things like that, and the gift. Somebody start to notice that this lady looks like a young girl that has been missing for 26 years. All right. So back in 1996, there's this 12-year-old girl who just went through, who is in her 6th grade in elementary school, and in the Sichuan province. Okay. One day she went to school. On the way back, she's gone. She's lost. And her parent couldn't find out, just where she's gone. The father becomes so depressed that after 20 years, the father passed away. Even though the father was a soldier, was very strong, and then was a veteran. Okay, the father passed away, and the mother has to, remarried, and so they've been keep thinking about where is my girl? Is she still alive? Okay, but so after this video was published, this chained lady. And somebody recognized, because if you, let's look at the photo again, these two people. So people use computer graphics to analyze the facial, right? These two, just everything is similar. There's a lot of characteristics who are the same. So people start asking questions. Could this old lady be that young girl that was missing 26 years ago? All right, of course, this question, they raised this question with the local government. Where that the family state, the local government since then published 4 rounds of report. The first round said, oh, the lady is just local people. He just married this man and that'll be it. And people start to pick it apart. This person is not from local, and then her ID, her marriage certificate has a lot of problems. The second, they are so-called second government's investigation conclusion, saying that, oh, she's displaced people. Many years ago, she just, strolled around and came to the town, and then got picked up by this man, and then she doesn't even know that what's her name. She doesn't remember her name. So the man gave her a name and then married her. This is the second version of the explanation. Mm-hmm. A few days later, because that have so many loopholes, and on the internet, people raise all kinds of doubts and questions. So a few days later, they released the third one. This time they said, oh, okay, actually this lady, even though she doesn't remember her name, and she recalled that where she come from. So she's from like southwest China in the Yunnan province, in the minority area. That by itself is very strange. This lady doesn't remember her name, but remember exactly where she come from. That just doesn't fit. Anyway. So the local authorities said she was from that minority place, and the family's relative tried to lead her to our place, which is Jiangsu province, and to get some cure for her disease. And then somehow she just went away. So somehow, and finally ended up in that man's house, and he married her. That's the third version. A few days later, the fourth version, saying, oh, that she was the victim of a human trafficker, and that human trafficker has been arrested. So anyway, so long story made short, there's just a formal government authorities investigation. Each version is completely, contradicted with the previous version.
Yeah. So what really is the story then?
Yeah. So basically, the simple fact is that in the meantime, that young girl who missed, right? Her name's Li Ying. Okay, Li Ying has an uncle. Li Ying has a mother, and the family has friends, and they are just zooming in there and saying that this young girl seems to be just be that chained lady. Okay, more and more evidence surface, and but the local authorities simply say no. She just is a just a victim of a trafficker from that minority area. So. Long story made short, let me tell you the final conclusion. Okay, the final conclusion is this lady, this little girl was adopted 26 years ago, sold to that man, and then his father, the husband himself, and his son, 3 of them take turn raping her. Not just that, because of she's able, she needs to legitimate having this member of the family there, and then he has to boss through the local authority, the police station, the local party officials, and they all come to the room to the house to rape her. So many people raped her, and that's how she got these 8 kids, and we don't know who their father is. And then because she has been fighting, so they used the ply to pull out all her teeth, with only 2 left. They also clip her tongue so that she cannot talk. When she was raped, she cried out loud. So they used poison to hurt her throat, so she cannot let out a voice. Then they chain her in that dark room for 20 years, and then just treat her as a sex slave. And this is only one situation, one lady in that region. Okay, that region actually won the, 联合国人居奖, United Nations, the best dwelling city in the world, okay?
Dwelling.
Best dwelling city in the world. Of course, all the award applications done by Chinese government. It's just such such absurd thing, okay? The fact of the matter is, in China, 3 million people are missing. And most of them are due to this human trafficker. And in that region, there are many, many ladies just like her. So now, government has been resisting, because they cannot admit that lady is this young girl Li Ying. Why? Because if that happened, it means that, okay, this is her father was an army veteran, was a member of the CCP, party member. And if somebody who's essentially gave everything to the party cannot even protect his girl, and her girl is subject to so much torture, okay, and they're afraid of all the veterans would revolt. So because of that, they keep denying, and then now it has been turned into an internet firestorm now. Now this is the #1 issue in China.
Yeah. And also, it also came out to here, even in the Silicon Valley, right?
Yeah.
So some of the alumni of the universities from China who are working in Silicon Valley now, they just petitioned to investigate this case. Mm-hmm. So I think the one takeaway, to me, is really anything in China. Such thing happened, even though it just relates to such a cruel treatment to people, the authority, the Chinese Communist government, they will treat the first thing they think if it will be a threatening to their state power.
Yeah, the power.
So that's it. They don't care anything else. Human rights, people's cry, no, nothing. Whatever they, the first thing they consider is its own safety.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so at this time, the issue has been, China has literally turned into a public court. Okay, every Chinese is a jury right now. They are watching that how the government would wrap this up, or would reveal that what happened, because through all the internet search, people already know the answer. That little girl's Li Ying is the little girl that was missing 26 years ago. Now it's just whether the government, the regime, would you admit it or not? So, okay, I just want you to know, BBC reported about this, and the New York Times did it, but no other Western media has done that. Now that's been the effort to try to rescue her out of China, okay? And the authorities have said, she's already crazy. This is a crazy lady. And who knows? Nobody knows. But she indeed, when there's people approach her, and her was murmuring, he said that this whole house is full of rapists, and then let me home. She said, let me home. Well, it's a very sad story, but this is one of the things that reality in China. So in the meantime, you got Yilan Gu. Okay, you got Yilan Gu getting this 2 gold and 1 silver, and getting all the sponsor package in China. In the meantime, you got this Li Ying, this poor lady that in the dark room tortured and chained up for 20 years. And to many parents in China, what's their comment? They said there are 10,000 miles between my girl and the Yilan Gu. Okay, right? It's very hard to become Yilan Gu. Mm-hmm. But between my girl and someday on her way to school, she got adopted and trained to like that is just one inch distance. So if we don't get to the bottom of this, nobody's girl is safe.
Yeah, so which one is the real China? Chinese people already telling how they think, right? So on the other hand, I think some people are also comparing to these two ladies, right? One is chained, the other has the gold medals in her necks. But Eileen Gu, the gold medal on her neck is another kind of chain.
It's a golden chain.
It's a golden chain by the Chinese Communist government because, since she performed well, she got all those praise and the sponsorship and the flowers, everything. But, if she one day, somehow she just speaks something that not aligned with the Chinese Communist Party, or she just performed poorly, like the other girl, the figure skater, Beverly Zhu, right? She fell twice at the game. How will she be treated? So that's another kind of chain on Eileen Gu.
Yeah. Okay, so that's the sad news from China, but it's a big drama right now, and we feel obligated to report to you, and we'll give you update later on. So now let's zoom in on the news of this country. Okay, first a piece of short news. This is National Republican Congressional Committee released a poll yesterday showing a strong analysis into the Hispanic voters in this country across the 47 battleground district, showing that the Hispanic voters are moving decisively away from the Democrats, which would have a major bearing upon the result of the midterm congressional elections. And historically, Hispanic has been largely on the Democrat Party's side. Okay, according to the 2020 exit polls, Hispanic voters nationwide voted for Democrats in congressional races over Republicans by a wide margin. What is the wide margin? 63% versus 36%. All right. However, this recent NRCC poll found that the ratio has shrunk to 44% versus the 37%. Mm-hmm. All right, so a lot, just shrink a lot, the difference. So why? So the National Republican Congressional Committee, NRCC Chairman Tom Emmer said in a statement, he said that Republicans are making a substantial gain with the Hispanic voters because of our focus on economic issues such as the cost of gas and grocery. Republicans are fighting to protect the American dream, while Democrats are pushing a socialist agenda that threatens it. Well, the respondent of the poll were evenly divided between Biden with 46% approval and 46% disapproval. However, more respondents strongly disapprove than those who strongly approve. So, and the ratio is 37%. I'm sorry, a strong disapproval versus 23% strong approval, respectively. And then the second key takeaway from the poll is that the Hispanic voters are extremely concerned about the inflation and their parental involvement in education. Okay? And in addition to believing that, quote, Republicans are better able to protect the American dream. And 78% of the respondents said that they are extremely or very concerned about the inflation. All right. And then the vast majority of them, 74% agree, and 22% disagree that the parents should have a say in what their children are taught in schools. So I asked about which party they believe would protect the American dream. 41% of Hispanic voter, remember this is a Hispanic voter, traditionally they are Democrats camp. And 41% said Republican would do that, while only 35% said Democrats. So that's a piece of the news. Now let's move on to what happened in Ottawa, the capital of Canada.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, before that, I just wanted to make another kind of observation. Actually, probably Democrats are already starting to feel that. And just as yesterday, California Governor Gavin Newsom just made an announcement that California now already ended the pandemic, entered into an endemic. This is, he's saying it's probably the first in the state. And interestingly enough, he was even talking about, we got to know more about the virus, and we now know how to, we can pronounce hydrochloroquine and ivermectin.
Wow. I thought it was politically incorrect when Trump was speaking about those terms, right?
Speak about Trump, he even just touted how he got President Trump's call at the early phase of the pandemic about asking California to take in those Americans came from Wuhan, remember? So he was touting that. So I just found it's very interesting, why did he would do this kind of speech, right? So yeah, just an interesting observation to share with you. All right, so let's talk about the Freedom Convoy. And in Canada, the authority already moved in the police, but in United States, another convoy, the convoy actually is starting. So we're gonna give you some updates on that. So Canada, as of now, the Canadian truck protest is already being cracked down. It was being broken. Cracked down by the police. At least 70 arrested, and 21 trucks towed. So the police action to arrest the truckers began on day 22nd of the protest, which is yesterday, and Canadian Prime Minister Trudeau ordered a crackdown on the trucker protest and its supporters. So what happened yesterday on Thursday? Much of Ottawa downtown was designated as a security area. At least 3 Freedom Convoy leaders have been arrested. That includes Tamara Lich and Chris Barber, were arrested last night, and they were charged. A third protest organizer, Pat King, was arrested on Friday today during a Facebook live stream. So Pat King told the viewers on Facebook live stream, saying that I'm being arrested by these officers right now. I'm being arrested. We will talk to you guys soon. So this morning, Ottawa police moved in, pushing protesters back towards the center of the convoy and started to arrest truckers who have occupied the center of the Canadian capital for the past 3 weeks. And in the meanwhile, Canada's parliament has shut down and canceled the plans for a debate about the implementation of the Emergencies Act amid the ongoing police operation. So under this Emergencies Act invoked by Trudeau, law enforcement officers have the ability to arrest people for so-called obstruction of roadways and disruptive behavior. Authorities also have the power to seize vehicles, freeze bank accounts, and cancel licenses. So since Wednesday, Ottawa sent out a message to truckers and warned them to leave or face criminal charges. The Ottawa police tweeted Friday afternoon saying that demonstrators, you must leave, you must cease further unlawful activities and immediately remove your vehicle and or property from all unlawful protest sites. Anyone within the unlawful protest site may be arrested. And they even warned the media, as you can see on the screen. They warned the media to leave, otherwise could be also charged. So by mid-afternoon today, police made at least 70 arrests and 21 vehicles towed. Other trucks have reportedly left after officers threatened to smash their windows. In some cases, the threat was carried out. And according to Canada TV station CTV, Ottawa police have responded with the pepper spray. as you can see from some tweets. So, and some peaceful protesters were beaten and thrown to the ground. And in terms of what they are doing to disrupt the financial situation of the truckers and the convoy, the banks begin to freeze accounts and crypto wallets. Let's take a lesson.
So you're confirming that accounts have been frozen, both personal and corporate, but you're not releasing the information. And the actual follow-up is, I'm just wondering whether the bank accounts will be targeted of individuals who donated to the Give, Send, Go and the GoFundMe campaigns. Are they considered designated people under the Emergencies Act, meaning that their credit cards could be cut and financial services are targeting them as well?
Okay, so the names of both individuals and entities, as well as crypto wallets, have been shared by the RCMP with financial institutions, and accounts have been frozen, and more accounts will be frozen. Crowdfunding platforms and payment service providers have started the registration process with FinTrack. In terms of the specifics on whose accounts are being frozen, you now have the regulations. The financial service providers have those regulations as well, and they, working with law enforcement, will be making the operational decisions.
So the Canadian cryptocurrency exchange said that they have received letters from Canadian police ordering them not to facilitate transactions for a list of more than 30 crypto wallet addresses linked to the Freedom Convoy protesters. And Trudeau's justice minister told Americans on Canadian TV, he took an interview from CTV and saying, if you are a member of a pro-Trump movement who's donated thousands and millions of dollars to the convoy, you ought to be worried about your bank account being frozen. So they are coming, they threatened the Americans who supported this movement. And then the Canadian minister calls out the protesters being foreign interfered. So what happened? Canada's foreign minister, Melanie Joly, on Friday said that there's a foreign interference fueled the trucker-led protest against this COVID restrictions, and they have clogged the capital for weeks. So she said that at the Munich Security Conference, saying that my biggest concern as foreign affairs minister in this foreign interference that is happening in the convoy that we're seeing in Canada right now. She said this information campaign, where it's come from, the financing of it, where it's come from. So when noting that there are Canadian protesting, these Canadian truckers are protesting peacefully, she said that there are also within the truckers' convoy some elements that that are extremely preoccupying, and that led to also criminal charges, particularly at the border between the U.S. and Canada. Then when she was asked if the foreign interference she was referring to relates to President Trump, she said she won't point out somebody in particular. But she said, we know that there is foreign interference, and that's why also we decided to go ahead and use for the first time in our country the Emergencies Act. So, is it really the foreign interference that's behind the Canadian trucker protest?
Let me insert an observation. They should not use that word because this is reserved for communist country. Foreign interference.
We are so familiar, right? We are so familiar. When I read that, heard that, it was like, it's so familiar. That's how everything happening in China, or there are some restrictions on the U.S.-China policy, or from the Western world. That's the word that Chinese Communist Party always use. It's the foreign interference. So let's come back to the United States. So actually, some people are saying that actually it's the Canadians' Freedom Convoy inspired the convoy in the United States. So American truckers are following suit with their own cross-country convoy. The American truckers protest, which there are quite a few actually. One of them is the People's Convoy. I think, according to the reports I can find, they probably would be the first to start, which will depart on February 22nd, which is next week. The convoy is set to have an estimated 1,000 U.S. truck drivers participate. So they have this official Facebook page. As you can see, it's almost 112,000 people joined. And this afternoon, they just announced their plan. They will start on February 22nd from Delano, which is a city in Southern California, the San Bernardino County. And this group saying that their mission is that because Americans love our freedoms and they love the constitutions of the United States of America, this convoy aims to bring back our freedom, our civil liberties, and bring an end to all unconstitutional mandates. So it says that this is about our rights as well as the freedom of our future generation. It says that it's not about political parties, but more so about a government that has forgotten its place and has no regards for our founding father instructions, which is the Constitution. So this is they are set to start next, which that's 22nd is Tuesday. In California, and going to Arizona, then Texas. So it will use, in the beginning, they said that their final place would be Washington, D.C., but I think people probably are still discussing that. Would that be the place they will end the protest at? So in concerning to the financial part, because people are all worried about what happened in Canada, where the government just freeze their cryptocurrency account, or just took the money from the crowdfunding websites like GoFundMe or the Canadian site Give, Send, Go. So the People's Convoy, the organizers, saying that they are working to ensure that won't happen with their movement. And another organizer of the People's Convoy, Brian Bray, said that their protest is not about a far right or far left issue. He says it's an American issue everyone should be fighting against. And the group is siding with the Canadian truckers protesting the government's authority to issue those mandates. And on the Facebook, Bray said that Canada needs our help and we are standing with Canada. Don't forget that in the United States, we are standing up to end the Emergency Powers Act, which ultimately would end the mandates. And the group is calling on lawmakers to lift the declaration of a national emergency concerning the pandemic, and they believe elected officials should not deprive people of fundamental rights, such as enforcing mask and the vaccine mandates. So, and there are other convoys are also planning the similar trips.
Yeah, and I've been reading the comment from you guys, and And Kate, you said this is two pieces of news. I'm still trying to validate this, okay? Because I haven't. Char West, you wrote Trudeau shut down Parliament today so that so they cannot discuss the Emergency Act as called for. This is a Trudeau's and the Liberals coup. So that's true.
Yeah,
Because I don't know why the Parliament is shut down.
Yeah, they planned to discuss this Emergencies Act, but it was canceled.
And Katie wrote that the woman died of her injuries, and the gentleman died of a heart attack. I'm not aware of the casualties, death toll at this arrest, but definitely will be following through to find out more details about that. So far we know at the most recent number is more than 100 arrests has been done. Okay, and yeah, so.
Yeah, and the Kitty Hawk saying the Canadians have been so beautiful. I've been watching all week. Catherine said the Canadian is being trashed now by central government. It's tyrannical.
Yeah, it's sad to know, to see this, but it's just I guess it's not avoidable with
Yeah, and
clash like that.
Louis said Canadian protesters have altered plans, but they should just back off and lay siege on that city, nothing in or out. Let their military truck stuff.
Yeah, actually, so far I have not seen enough report about the Parliament shutdown matter. Even I've been searching around, so it is at least not sufficiently reported. Anyway, we'll be following through. Okay, we'll be digging out more out of it, so that you know that what's the circumstance of doing that. Suppose we got the Parliament there, as this shouldn't just happen without any resistance, but this has been happening like what we have reported to you.
Yeah, so I don't know how people think about the different convoys in the United States, because it seems different organizations, they are organizing the protests. So I don't know, do you think they should just come together or just do it separately? What do you think? It's a tough call.
Yeah. It's a tough call, but but I think basically this is what I see is that this is indeed the people's sending out their voice. They should. This is a country protected by the First Amendment, so they are able to speak out when they have to, and this is what we don't have in China. So as everybody's speaking out, I think it will generate an impact. So we'll see. We'll be trying to, next week we'll be going to the CPAC. So originally we tried to cover this, but this came later than our CPAC trip.
Right.
So I'll see how to manage that.
Yeah, it's if they stick to their plan, it's next Tuesday in Southern California. So we'll see if we will be able to make it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know how people think about what's going on right now.
Yeah, I want to hear from you so that so that we can also read what you comment over there.
Yeah, we actually received quite a few emails in the past few days because we got some audience saying that they wanted to keep connected with us, so they sent email, and so we communicated how they know about our channel, how do they like our topics and our shows. So it's very actually we feel very humbled and very encouraged from these friends, and how they give us share with us their own stories and their concerns. So yeah, we are quite moved. So thank you for all those feedbacks and support from you. So yeah, if you would like to keep connect with us, send us email. We will put on the email here so that just in case we can always be connected. And we always love to hear from you about what you concerned about. What do you like our show about, and what would you like us to discuss in the future?
Yeah, no, to be honest, the reason why we started this show about more than 1 year ago, and is because of we see what's upcoming. So we try to do this show and communicate with the American people so that they can stay strong and they stay vocal. And when they run into this kind of another version, a disguised version of the socialism, and running their way and try to control things, and American people should be able to recognize that and speak loudly against it. And that's the reason why we started this show. And at that time, we got an audience like 20 times of today, right?
See here, actually, I think if you probably noticed, there's a comment on the YouTube channel is in Chinese. So we'll translate for you. This friend saying that, hope you will awake more non-Chinese speaking people. So that's exactly, a lot of our audience on the Chinese channel told us they just hope more people who don't speak Chinese can understand better about the CCP, about the socialism, communism.
And just what I mean to try to say is that with clearly with the shadow ban, and then we have a much smaller audience, which are you, okay? But you are great people, and even with a small audience, but I think you guys are solid and solid.
Actually, I don't know if we want to trust the numbers here, right? I saw a GPT saying that I love this channel since day one. I just received, it's just so encouraging, and from some emails we received, people are saying we have been watching you since day one. So. Yeah, really, it's very encouraging. And again, we still encourage you to, like our channel, share our channel, so that more people can know the information that you feel also is very important.
Yeah, okay. So we're looking forward to a big week next week. And we'll keep bringing you great news.
Yeah. Truth is powerful, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So, all right. So take care. Have a great weekend.
See you next Monday.
Good night.
Bye-bye.